What's up, comic book fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, the co-host of the Emerald Echo podcast, here with a look at the Marvel Legends retro figure of Ben Reilly Spider-Man. Despite the fact that the Clone Saga was kind of a mess in places, I'm still a fan of that story and this era of Spider-Man comics. One of the good things that came out of that time period was the Ben Reilly version of Spider-Man. So when I saw this, it was an easy pickup. So let's go ahead and take a close look at the package details now. Here is the back bottom of the packaging, and here are product shots of the other figures available in this wave. Here is the back top of the packaging. We get some nice artwork of Ben Reilly. We get the Spider-Man the Animated Series logo here. We also get a diagram of how to change out the alternate hands. Over here, we get a brief bio of Ben in 5 different languages. The English version says, "After years of self-imposed exile, Spider-Man is back, now calling himself Ben Reilly and sporting a brand new costume and web shooters. The wall crawler returns to fight crime." Here you see the front with the retro carding, and this is very sturdy. This is not something that's going to crease easily. I'm a big fan of this basic card and bubble design. I really like how this looks. The bubble is also sturdy. Here's the 2 alternate set of hands, and here is the figure framed well within the bubble. And now I think it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. Here is the figure free of the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. And here we have Spider-Man out of the package and ready to rumble. So I've reviewed several of these retro Spider-Man figures so far. I've reviewed the Armored Spider-Man, the Symbiote Spider-Man. They have all been high quality, and this one is certainly no different. There is just so much to like about this figure. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the loose details now. Here are the 2 alternate sets of hands, and we get a pair of fists here. Those look really good. Lots of good paint work there. Lots of good detail. And of course, these have the same hinge here with the peg. Likewise over here, these are either wall crawling hands or just open hands, depending on your preference. But again, lots of good detail. You can see like the little indentations here that have been sculpted in the way that a palm would look. So I certainly appreciate that. Lots of good detail on the back too. And again, we get the hinges here. So all of these are certainly appreciated. So let's have a look at the lower body, and there's just an amazing amount of articulation that runs all the way through this figure. With the feet here, you get good articulation at the ankle. There is pivoting down here, which will help you establish a firm base with the figure. Here at the calf, there's also this swiveling here, which is appreciated, but it does make the figure look kind of weird when you do that. Some people will probably complain about the fact that these pegs here with the double jointed knees, that the bottom pegs are red. That doesn't bother me too much, but some people may be off-put by that. Now these knees, because they are double jointed, you can get him in a great running pose if you'd like to do that. And of course, you know, if you want to have him setting on a wall or something like that. Again, this figure is obviously made for collectors and for people who want to do things like stop motion and dioramas. There's also this articulation here at the quadriceps. The upper part of the quadriceps, you get this swivel. The sculpting and the paint applications are both excellent on this figure. The definition on these hamstrings is perfect. And in terms of hip articulation, you can get him to kick forward that far. That's pretty good. You can get him to do a pretty decent side kick, although I feel like this could go up a little bit further. But you can also get him to step back, and that's something that I always appreciate when it comes to posing a figure. Let's have a look at the torso here. And once again, we get this double hinge joint at the abdomen. You get one hinge down here at the very lower abdominals. The other up here, right about the area where you'd find the xiphoid process. That just looks really good. I mean, that's just poetry. Being able to pose him going backward like this. You know, Spider-Man's known for his flexibility, and that just looks really good. Now, the back looks pretty good as well. Of course, you can get him to like crunch forward into an extreme position, but that does leave a little bit of a gap back here. So that's my only criticism in terms of the torso articulation. But as far as the paint, I mean, just everything looks really good. Very exact, very tight lines. I've always liked the Ben Reilly costume. This just looks really good. Again, good muscles back here. You know, even with all of this articulation, you can still see definition in the latissimus dorsi and the trapezius up here. Just everything looks really good on this. So just nicely done by Hasbro. Let's have a look at the arms now, and they are extremely well done too. I really like this paint choice here, this metallic silver here. This looks like a good web shooter. I certainly appreciate that. Again, good articulation with these hands. And of course, you have to have these hands. These are obligatory with Spider-Man figures. Whether you want to call them web shooting hands or thwipping hands, either way, it amounts to the same thing. Those are very appreciated. I like the musculature on the arms. I mean, he's defined, but he's not overly bulky. Now, there's double jointed elbows, so you can get his elbow into this kind of position, and you can get his arm to go up pretty high. So if you want to have him dropping an elbow, that's really cool. Swiveling at the biceps, certainly appreciate that. You can get his shoulder to go up this far, and he does have the butterfly joint, and of course that's appreciated. And I really like how, at least until the very extreme portion of this pose, really the spider goes all the way through until you get about to right here. So I still think that's an admirable job. And, you know, some people may even want to fix that. This feels like it would be a very easy fix. But I'm just appreciative of the fact that we get these kinds of joints with Spider-Man figures so he can do those kind of patented poses that we're so used to seeing with Spider-Man. So as I'm changing out the hands here, if you're wondering if you can get the web shooter off, you certainly can. Now, if you're wondering if you can get his arm to go straight above his head, you can. You just have to have the joint positioned right here. It's kind of weird with this butterfly joint. As long as you have it positioned right here, you do have 360 degrees of rotation. So if you want to have his arm directly over his head like so, you can certainly get it like that. So let's have a look at the head sculpt here. And there's really not much more that we could ask for as collectors. The line work is very tight. The paint applications on the webbing, as you can see, they just look really good. The lenses here, they've been sculpted above the mask, so you can actually feel the edges here. So it's like actual lenses have been popped in. It's not just a perfunctory effort with paint. I really like the head shape. And there's an outstanding amount of articulation here. Of course, you can get him to look side to side, but you can also get the head to go really far up. There's a little bit of a weird gap there, but that's okay. You can get him to look down really far, like if you're getting him into like a position where he's looking down on somebody from a wall. That's certainly appreciated. And this is what I really like. I always appreciate head tilting, and there's plenty of that here. So just an outstanding job on the head by Hasbro. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review, and please tell all of your friends about this channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more Spider-Man related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.